Hello, friends. David Nuno here with TexAgs Rewind, presented by T-Mobile. They want to remind you to visit T-Mobile.com/acrossamerica so you can learn how you get value and coverage through T-Mobile. Good show today. We're back in the studio. Was happy to be here. The Go Hour. We're putting a lot of our focus now on football. Obviously, we got baseball to get into, but football spring game this weekend. And I was kind of looking ahead to the schedule. At what point during the season are we going to know who the real A&M team is? If you can, comment on the below, wherever. You know where you're supposed to comment. And just tell us where you think. Is it the Miami game? Is it the Arkansas game? Is it the Bama game? Mississippi State game? We all had our ideas there. Billy participated, OB, myself, and, of course, a lot of the callers and viewers and texters. All right, and Jim Schlossnagle came on, talked about a rough weekend there in Tuscaloosa where he was not happy with Sunday. Saturday happened. It didn't go their way. Friday did, but the Sunday was really the bad one, losing that series. We did a lot around Aggieland, and Billy Liucci got us all ready for the spring game. You want Alabama to be the game that defines your season. You want Alabama to be the game where you know who you really are.
Well, there's a difference in defining your season and knowing who you are.
Well, sure. But I think the Alabama game is what I want to be, and I also think it will be. I'm not saying that the Arkansas game, the Mississippi State game, we know those are difficult games, and Arkansas is a team that keeps adding transfers and is heading in an upward trajectory. But I think for this team, the expectations, where they are with three capable quarterbacks, the Alabama game, to me, is the most important game. Arkansas, September 22nd. Miami, September 15th. Those games are going to be hugely important, no doubt. But I think you take care of business in those games and you refine everything. And that road test at Tuscaloosa, where they want payback for last year, is the big one.
It is the big one. I still don't think it's the answer to the question you asked.
Mm-hmm.
But
you think we'll know before?
I think we'll know at the Mississippi State game. We'll know.
Okay.
We'll know who they are. Now, does that mean who they are is good enough to beat Alabama on the road? I don't know. But I think if they beat Mississippi State, they'll probably be 5-0.
Yeah,
frankly. And if they beat Mississippi State, I think you're going to say, okay, we know who this team is. We know by then what we're good at, not so good at, and where we're going. And you beat Mississippi State, I think you're looking at you'll be looking at especially if you start 5-0, looking at a 10-win season.
Hey, good morning, Jim. How are you, sir?
I've had better Mondays, but good to visit with you guys.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. So another tough one. How disappointing was yesterday, especially after the way Saturday night ended? I know they're all tough, but just the weekend in total.
Yeah, Saturday. As disappointed as I've been about a loss in a really long time, simply because we strive so hard to play fundamental baseball, winning baseball, throw strikes, make routine plays, and that was about as ugly as it gets, at least that I can remember. This year, I was proud of the guys getting down 7-1 and then coming back. Of course, they gave us, it was an ugly game on both sides. Neither team played very well. But they got one or two more hits than we did. We still got the second and third with 2 outs and 2 strikes in the ninth inning with a chance to win the game or put ourselves ahead at least. And their guy, their bullpen did a much better job than ours. And then yesterday, we hit the 2-run homer. Got Micah Dallas on the mound. He seems to be pitching pretty well. Walks the leadoff hitter. And then I think, they got a couple, they just strung together hits against them. And so you have to tip your cap to Alabama on that. Lose a series on the road in which we win the first game. And, I'm just real disappointed this morning. So we got an opportunity this week, got 4 home games. One against, I haven't looked at rankings, but I think Texas State's having a really good season. At least they were. One of my former players is the head coach, so I'll certainly look forward to seeing him. And then got a home series against Kentucky team that I know played. I didn't see any scores from yesterday, but I know they played Ole Miss tough at least one game and have a big offense. So big opportunity for us to kind of show what we're made of. So we'll see how the week goes.
What's going on in around Aggieland?
I'm going to begin around Aggieland with some women's tennis talk.
They deserve it.
How about that? Number 7, Texas A&M's women's tennis team wrapped up their home slate this weekend with 2 victories at the Mitchell Tennis Center On Friday, the number 7 Aggies took down number 9 Auburn 7-0. Yes, a sweep. That win put them in sole possession of the SEC lead with 4 matches to go. And then on Sunday, the Aggies took down Alabama 6-1. After that match, they honored 4 seniors: Issa DeLaura, Tatiana Makarova, Renee McBride, and Katya Townsend for their service and dedication to Texas A&M women's tennis. With 3 regular season matches remaining, Texas A&M is a perfect 10-0 in SEC play. They're 24-1 on the season, and they're currently riding a 15-match winning streak. That 14-1 record is the best mark in program history through 25 matches. They'll face LSU in Baton Rouge on Friday afternoon, and they currently have a 1.5-game lead over Auburn and Georgia in the SEC standings. Both those teams sitting at 8-1, so congratulations to them, and they've been fantastic all year long.
We got to get them back in studio soon.
Oh yeah, especially it looks like they're gonna, barring a huge upset down the road, it looks like they're gonna win the SEC regular season crown.
I hope so.
Men's tennis split a pair of road matches this weekend in the Yellowhammer State. They defeated Alabama 5-2 on Friday before falling to Auburn 4-2 on Sunday. Dalton's licking the glass. It's very weird.
That was disgusting.
That was very strange.
Yeah, I'm calling HR finally. I'm putting in a
unfortunately,
report.
we do not have HR, but Dalton Hughes would be.
He'd be
guilty.
first on the list.
Yeah, absolutely. And softball action this weekend at Davis Diamond, a rare non-conference mid-season series. Texas A&M absolutely destroying Abilene Christian en route to the first 3-game sweep of the season. Friday, this is not a typo. Texas A&M 18, Abilene Christian nothing. They led 4-0 going into the 4th. The Aggies scored 14 runs.
That's pretty good.
That's a lot of runs. I think that one inning took about an hour to complete.
We know they can score some runs.
They score some runs.
We know.
They had 15 hits, and every single player, other than the pitchers, there were 12 of them, scored at least 1 run. So
every single player.
That is a complete victory.
We'll take
I would
that.
say so.
Yes, sir.
And then on Saturday, the Aggies followed it up with yet another run rule victory, beating Abilene Christian 9-1. 4-0 start in the first. Haley Lee and Morgan Smith had multi-hit games. And then in Sunday's finale, Mackenzie Herzog hit a 2-run homer. Emily Kennedy won her 8th victory in the circle as the Aggies beat the Wildcats 5-2. They'll host Incarnate Word on Tuesday night for another non-conference clash. First pitch set for 5 p.m. Central Time, and you can stream that on the SEC Network Plus. It was a rough weekend for Jim Schlossnagle and company in Tuscaloosa after they took the series opener on Friday night 3-2. They dropped the last 2 games. Nathan Detmer was brilliant, a quality start on Friday night. 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 runs, only 1 earned, a career-high 7 strikeouts. Brett Minich drove in all 3 runs, including a 2-run blast in the 6th. And then Brad Rudis out of the bullpen, 1 1/3 innings pitch en route to the save. 1 hit, no walks, no runs, 3 strikeouts for him. And then Saturday, a weird contest. The Aggies fell 10-9 before losing the finale 8-4. They'll host number 10 Texas State on Tuesday night, 6:32 first pitch, also streaming on the SEC Network Plus. And how about this, David, to wrap it up? The dual meet with Texas at E.B. Cushing Stadium, the Aggies lost both the men's and the women's side, but Devon Achane setting an NCAA leading mark in the men's 200-meter with a time of 20:20, 10th fastest time in the world this season. Layla Owens also setting an NCAA leading mark in the women's 200, 22:57, the 3rd fastest time in the world this season. Cherokee Young, a world-leading time in the women's 400, the time of 50 seconds flat, and Deborah Aqua setting a Ghanaian national record in the women's long jump, the 2nd best jump in Texas A&M history, Dave.
And this is a direct message to some subscribers that won't stop saying that. I'm to the point of pissed off about it. Like, I'm sick of it. If you think, first of all, that even coaches at A&M act that way. A, that they'd have the gall. B, it would mean they know nothing about me. And C, they don't do that. There is not that level of micromanaging from these – like, it's actually the opposite. And it's such a disrespect to what we've built here to think that from Jimbo to other coaches, you heard Slosh this morning, Gary Blair, you name it. They understand. Pat Henry comes in here. What we can provide them in terms of a platform and in terms of being an asset to get the word out, get the message out. if you think that coaches would come to me or us of all people and say, hey, we don't want you covering, and if they did that, they'd say, okay, then we'll just cover crap our way. You're not going to like that. Like, it's a great relationship, and I could write about spring practice every day. And I could tell you every day that there's no movement at quarterback and that all three guys, and some people go, well, that's what we want to hear. Well, we talk about it on radio. We've done a couple luchadors. Hop's writing about it every day. And what you're going to get today is going to be actual info, not BS that I've kind of seen elsewhere that is completely misleading, and year in and year out that happens. And it gets people's hopes up on certain things that don't come to fruition. When you get it from me, it's going to be accurate and it's going to be right. And here's a big part of this spring. There are so many guys out. There's been so little in the way of movement, big, a lot of these guys, I couldn't tell you where the huge, giant performances are coming from day to day, because it's kind of somebody different each day. The D-line has looked really good. But you think about the guys that are out. There's been times where they were working with 6 or 7 scholarship offensive linemen. Not optimal. Who's too deep on the O-line? Well, I could write it for you. You could read Hop's practice reports, but really there is no too deep. You got guys missing for track. Running back, you've got Amari Daniels, and he was out for a few days, and you were down to Crownover and Aniyah Smith. LJ's out. We've told you that. A-Chain's hardly been out there. We've told you that. Le'Veon Moss coming in. Completely, it will look nothing like it will in the fall. Wide receiver, who's doing what? Well, it's been a different guy each day. I don't think there's one guy that's gone through the roof. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see in the fall. So there's just not been – they had a scrimmage the other day, and the starting corners were Miles Jones and Josh Moten. 2 guys coming off – they missed all of last year, essentially, with injuries. Moten, maybe he works his way up, but you think about what you think that depth chart is going to look like at corner. That name, no one would have said it. And that's not why he was working with the first team. That was Jalen Jones is out. Denver Harris is out. I'd assume for that day, for it to be like that, Tyreek Chappelle was out. So it's been a lot of that stuff where I'm sorry, but just the day-to-day on that is,
Thank you so much for watching this. Hopefully you guys commented on the post below. If you can, do that. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff. We will see you guys on Tuesday for TexAgs Rewind.